Let's fucking go. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy, and we are ready to roll this morning. It's a Wednesday, people. And also here with me, Chase. Good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. So we're also doing something else. When are we going to put the first reaction video up so we can give
First
people
one comes up Saturday.
this Saturday? So this Saturday... we're starting a new thing. We recorded it. We recorded a couple yesterday, and these are reaction videos that we're doing. And it's also possible because Chase is, we've been together for a minute now. I don't know what you could tell we're total dudes. We had a 1-year anniversary at some point that we didn't remember. but
Very true.
but it's been a year at least now that we've been working on this podcast, and he had a great idea with these reaction videos. And even better, which I really like, is it's the total real reaction that I've never seen the videos before he shows them, and he was good at picking out things that would be interesting to me, and that that I can comment on. So really super cool. Those are going to air. And they're like, what was it? 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Probably. One was a little shorter than the other.
One was probably going to be about 15 minutes. The other one will probably be a little bit more closer to 30.
Yeah. So they're going to mostly fall in that category, yeah. I think, of videos that were just watching the video, reacting, giving you information.
Very, very entertaining, in my opinion. So
yeah, Dawn was just sitting listening at out in the kitchen, and she really liked it.
Yes.
So
I'm
she
excited
mentioned that too.
For people to see those videos. I had a great time recording them, so I'm sure they're gonna be really good videos.
Well, it's fun. It was fun. Yeah, I had a good time doing that, and I appreciate that, and that's what we're doing. So, but during the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, somewhere around 9 o'clock, as close as we can, we just go live and talk about the day's events, what's been going on. And obviously you see me today in my Mercury gear. My Phoenix Mercury had a very nice win against Dallas, who's not that good of a team. They have one of the top new play. Well, they probably have the top new player in the league, which is Paige Beckers, and chick is just legit right out of the box, first year, just like Caitlin Clark, totally legit. The first game against Dallas in Phoenix won, but Paige had 35 points. They really held her this past game and really blew them out, which is kind of crazy because on July 3rd, the Phoenix Mercury played Dallas in Dallas and lost. And I don't know. The things going on with the team are kind of crazy right now. So everybody had been healthy for a minute, just a minute. We had and we have a lot. We have a deep bench, and we have a lot of star players. We have Satu Sabali, we have Alyssa Thomas, we have Copper, and who else? I thought those are the big three. Those are the big three. But we have Natasha Mack, who's also a very good player. So it was very, very funny. There was a dude behind me during the game that was a little bit annoying, a Dallas fan, but he was just an annoying person. Like the people around him were like, ugh, God, we got to listen to this dude the whole game kind of thing. And we love cheering, you love all that, but there's sometimes you just know fans annoy you, right? And so he said this thing pretty good. So I took that and used that the whole game, loud enough for him to hear every time. When the Mercury would do something or score, like, that was a pretty good 3. And I just kept going on and hammering him. And then in the second half, when we were blowing him out and he kind of was shutting up, because we get to be in we get to go to the lounge area. You know, we have access to that because of our season tickets that we have, which is phenomenal. They always have cookies. They always have cookies, several different types of cookies, and they have these salted chocolate chip cookies. And I took a couple of them, and I had a couple with me in our seats, and I picked up the little plate, and I turned around and I said, "Would you like a cookie?" And he did take the cookie. It was totally funny. It was good. Even funnier, though, is because we sit almost directly at mid-court. We're right behind the announcer, so if ever you're seeing a game, you can probably find us because we are in the first row right behind the announcers, for the seats that aren't on the floor. And the coach, Nate, is kind of in front of me. And I like this particular player, Musa. There's two players that are not starters that I really was rooting for. And I root for all of them. I get into the games, man. I'm excited. I'm one of the biggest fans. The other people around the Phoenix Mercury people, they'll tell you. Like this new old dude that's a rookie fan here, he's like, he's exciting. He loves the game, and I do. And we're having a great time. And the coach is in front of us. So I like Musa and Brown. Musa is this chick she's hard, man. Like muscular hard.
Okay.
Like there's no little soft, like she's got that hardness bodybuilder type look to her. And she's a tough player. She'll dive for the ball. She'll get the rebounds other people aren't going after. And she could shoot. She could play. But somehow she's not fitting in. In the last few games, he hasn't played her at all, which is unusual because he pretty much was playing everybody, running everybody. They play a very fast game, much like the Fever. But like, I'm serious. Like, we have a really, really good team. I can't stress that enough. I'm not saying that because I'm a season ticket holder. And the coach is in front of me. He's watching the game like this on the floor. And I yell out to him, "Put in Musa." And he hears me because I'm loud. I have a big fucking mouth. Everybody can hear me. And sometimes you could probably hear me if you're watching the game on TV, that my voice gets into the microphones because the announcers are right in front of me. And he did this, dude. He cocked his head and turned and looked at me. And that looked like, did he just say put in Musa? And then he turned back around. And then half a second later, he turned back again. And chuckled a little bit and shook his head. So what we didn't know, right? But okay, everybody around me is like rolling. They thought that was funny because, I actually got a response from the coach. They usually ignore the fans, right? Everybody ignores the fans. But I did get a reaction from him, so that made the whole thing really cool. Well, he didn't put her in the game. We won the game. It was a blowout. She never got in. And we're trying to figure out why. Well, I get to talk to one of the people that is a Phoenix Mercury person, that's in front of us and that runs papers around to different people and anything. And basically, Bonner was there. Bonner formerly played for the Phoenix Mercury. And then she's been at the Fever. Well, she was at the game. And she hasn't been playing for the Fever here for a couple of weeks. And I guess this has been in the works for a couple of weeks. She's going to be joining the team. So Musa is probably going to be gone. But I really hope that girl gets picked up somewhere else. I hope she really is gritty and doesn't give up, because that's just the journey of many athletes. Just because you don't make it there doesn't mean you're not going to make it. That's just, you got to have that grit and just keep going for it. And I hope she does, because I'll be rooting for her wherever she's at, because I love that mentality of somebody, not that she doesn't have talent, she does. But what she has more of than talent even is the heart. And I love that. The ones that fight to be there and have to do that to be able to, succeed, that it just doesn't come as naturally for them. They have to put in the work. And to me, it looks like she's a good player. I don't know why we're getting Bonner. Okay. Well, I kind of do. I'll get into that. We don't need Bonner. We have players that play that position that are good. We're not lacking where you in such a way on this team that you would be management. And I would love to talk to him. Maybe we'll get a chance, but I'd love to talk to him about, like, we're not missing a piece. Like, if we just need this one piece, because now we're better this year than everybody thought we were going to be. We're a top 3 team, and we have a chance to win a WNBA championship, and they do. They legitimately, I would put the top 3, well, let me make this probably the top 4 teams. I would say the Minnesota Lynx are probably still number 1 because they are the number 1 team, defending champs, are right there at number 1. I would put my Phoenix at number 2. I would put Fever at number 3, even though they have just a little bit better than a 500 record. They're going to make the playoffs no matter what, and they would have a better record. They've been a 500 team with Caitlin Clark out of the lineup. The last I saw, they were 4-4 when she hasn't played. And then the New York Liberty, I would put them right up there too. They're very solid. But we've beaten the New York Liberty a couple times. We haven't beaten the Lynx, but the Fever have beaten the Lynx. So who knows if we'd even see them in the playoffs or not. But those are your top. And then you can't take these. I mean, even though we beat the Wings by 30 points the other night on Monday night, even though you can't take them lightly, because, again, you can't take those bottom teams lightly because they beat us in Dallas on the 3rd. So it's great competition. It just is. It's great competition. And then you have even new teams like the Valkyries, who are 500. Everybody's dangerous. Everybody's dangerous. But the Mercury are right there. I just don't understand why they got Bonner. Now, here's what I've heard from other people. Because, again, this is a very large, this sport is its number 1 fan base is the LGBT community, okay? So I'm getting this from them. I don't know who's seeing who. I don't know what players, who their girlfriends or wives are, kind of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But as I understand it from somebody who does, that's seated around me, that knows this stuff, apparently Bonner is the girlfriend or boyfriend. I don't know. She's with Alyssa Thomas.
Okay.
Which I don't have a problem with. You know what I do have a problem with?
What's up?
Making a personnel decision based on who somebody else is sleeping with or is with.
Is she also a basketball player?
Yeah, Bonner. She's formerly, she's a 2-time WNBA champion. She played for Phoenix previously. She started this year with the Fever, and now the Phoenix Mercury are bringing her back.
Is there like legality things?
No, there's nothing. I just think it's a bad decision to make it based on like that, because especially relationships, and because there are workplace rules for reasons and stuff like that, or it just, what if they get in a fight at home? You're gonna keep that shit at home? You bringing it to the locker room? Yeah. You bringing it to the floor? It's just hard. It's just not a good idea. And here's the other thing, the biggest thing of all. Dude, we don't need her. Think about this. 2 of our star players, Sabali was out, and Copper was out. Both out. So Alyssa Thomas was the main chick on the floor. Sammy Whitcomb lit it up, dude, like killing 3. She was the player of the game, had 37 points and a shit ton of threes, and had 25 by halftime. So, and she's a good starter for us. Sammy's a good solid player. We have another one, I can't remember, that's been hurt on the bench too. Like, it's just, we have so many good girls that can hit threes, dude. Like, that's our thing on our team. Our team is good at threes. If we're not on our threes, then you're probably going to beat us. But we have so many girls that can shoot threes. it's rare that somebody's not going to be hitting, right? So if somebody's not hitting, somebody else is. So I don't know what. That be curious to see Monday night. See what we had to be over 50% shooting percentage on 3 points against Dallas. That's who we played. So we played Dallas on Monday. If you pull that up, yep, yeah. See, 30 points, 102-72. And I don't know if it'll break it down further than that. But
What did you say? Break like the stats? Or?
yeah, break the stats down. Yeah, does it? I don't know if that page does it.
Let me look for.
Yeah, you might have to be on ESPN or something. But we had to be above 50%. But I'm just saying we're loaded with talented players that can shoot threes. We have bench players that can come in and throw threes up. So that's my question. So I'm just trying to get to this point, and I haven't done it yet, so I'll try to do it now. It seems like we almost do a little bit better when we don't have every player healthy. And I know that seems weird, but it just seems like it's easier for the flow of the game and to get everybody their shots. You know, it's tough when you have three players that would be the number one player on about 80% of the other teams. If they played for somebody else, you know, I would probably say because of age, talent, I probably put Sabali as number one, our number one player. I haven't seen enough of Copper yet because she has only played a couple of games. One was very good, one was not so good when everybody was healthy. But it seems like when a couple people are out, he's able to get everybody in. Yeah, see, Lexi Held, she can throw in the threes. Copper's a star player. Sabali's a star player. The one that says did not play coach's decision, like I said, she's the only one that didn't play. And the reason being is because you're going to put her in a game when you're trading her. You don't want to get hurt, that kind of thing. They're doing something with her. She's not going to be on the team. And then Brown, I love Brown. Okay, Kalani Brown, she's my girl. She's a big, big girl. Solid. It keeps getting better as a big girl. Coming in, getting the rebounds, putting the putbacks, and that kind of stuff. And she's just, I love rooting for her. But Sammy Whitcomb, all totaled 3-pointers, 14 of 32. So I was close. I figured we would be about 50% on threes. 43% on threes. Coach of basically 44%. You'll take that all day long, right? You'll take that all day long. That was big. And just good. It's such a solid team, man. Yeah, that's kind of what we have. So we're adding another player that will put us at 4 players. You know, like I said, Natasha Mack, to me, she's a Bonner. They're similar build. Their game is similar. We got her. Why do we need somebody? I just don't understand what we're doing. But I'm excited about going to today's game. So today's game, and I wasn't planning on talking about this for this long, but it just shows, too, I'm not the only one. And people can shit talk on the WNBA all they want. They can shit talk on Angel Reese all they want. But it is becoming, the popularity is increasing. And Caitlin Clark definitely started that off. Angel Reese is a super contributor to that. And Paige Beckers is another one that's doing that. And it seems previous to that, the MVP of the league, the top player considered in the league, is Asia Wilson, and people seem to love her too. You know, she's got a good shoe deal. She's doing really well. So, and just more and more players. Like, I think the Fever are a little deep. They played really, really well without Caitlin Clark in there the other night. We watched one of the games on, and that's it. I'm actually watching not just the team I'm rooting for, but I'm watching other games, mostly the Fever, but I'll actually watch other WNBA games if it's on TV because I like live action stuff as much as anything. It's right up there with me with a good series, but I love live action sports, always have. And so I'll be watching that. And more people are. More and more people are talking about it. And then here I'm sitting excited, going on and on about this. And people are like, you really are getting into this. You really like that. And they could tell by my Facebook. It's real. It's legit because we're actually having a really good time. We've met a bunch of great people around us. It feels good too. You know, we've made friends in the lounge area, the bartenders. The bartenders love us. And like we didn't get there till about 45 minutes before the game. And the bartenders are like, oh, a little late today, huh? Like they noticed that, you know, and when somebody says that to you, like they're looking for you and expecting you. Because we haven't missed a game so far. Haven't missed a game. I didn't know if we'd go to all the games. I figured I might sell the tickets to some of the games. We haven't sold a single ticket yet because we've been able to make every game, including going today. Today, I think, is a thing for kids, maybe. Like, but school's out. School hasn't started, but school does start back soon here in Arizona, right? Like, it's crazy, like how they do school in Arizona.
It also depends on the school district you're in. They have different times.
Yeah, and because there's so many different types of schools here, and yeah, totally different here. But I think it's some kinds of kids fans day, and that's why they're doing a game at 12:30 today. It's just fan base. Is that what it says? Celebrating it is a theme game specifically designated as Honeywell's Camp Day game, highlighting STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. I don't know, but it's kind of directed at kids, right? That's what it seems like, which is cool. And so it's going to be loud. If you've ever gone to games where there's an extra amount of kids, oh boy, they used to do that with the hockey team back in Toledo. They were excited, so that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I really love it, and we're gonna go today. We're finishing as soon as I'm finished with the podcast. We're gonna head downtown and have a nice afternoon, taking a WNBA game.
Hell yeah.
So, and it especially, I really want to go. I wouldn't miss the game because it's a Minnesota Lynx game. You know, they're 17-2. We're 13-6. We need to show that we can beat the Lynx. And we haven't done that yet. Because you can't be the best unless you beat the best.
Is that the only team we've lost to?
No, we've lost to other teams, but we've also beaten other teams that have beaten us. We've beaten them.
Gotcha.
I think they may be the only team that's beaten us that we haven't beaten them.
Gotcha.
And Atlanta is actually up there a little ways too, where I don't see. Oh, the Dream. Yeah, see, they're right behind us. That's where Griner plays now. Atlanta's a solid team, and I don't know if we've played them yet. It doesn't feel like we have. But I've seen games against every team in the Eastern Conference, except we haven't played Fever yet. That's coming. We got 3 games coming against the Fever, 2 of them here at home that are all coming up. I feel like in the Western Conference, we've played everybody in the Western Conference for sure. And some of them, 2 or 3 games, like the Storm we've played, the Valkyries, Aces have been here. We've gone there. The Los Angeles Sparks and the Wings we've played. So the only one I'm not sure of if we've played or not yet, we played the Connecticut Sun. Chicago came here. The Mystics are Washington, D.C. So it's just the one I see is the Dream. I don't know. We'd have to click on it to see what our schedule was already for this year if we had a game against them. Yeah. Scroll up. I don't see them. They're a pretty easy logo to pick out. See, but we've had close games against the Lynx. We just haven't gotten over that hump. Go back down. Let's check one more time just to make sure. Yeah, see the Valkyries, the Storm. We've beaten everybody except the Lynx. And that was a big win against the Liberty, 106-91. They've been a top team for a couple of years now and are still a top team. So, yeah, the dream got to be coming up. And they probably more than that, right? If you continue down. Yeah. So we got 3 games coming up against them. So we haven't played the Fever or the Dream yet, are the 2 teams we haven't played. And those are all coming up in the second half of the season. We're about to go into the All-Star game, which is actually in Indianapolis this year, which is a great choice. That's a great idea for the league to have it there where, Indiana Fever being the kind of center of attention people want to see. Indianapolis will be rocking.
Hopefully they show out because that'd be upsetting to lose in your own hometown.
Yeah, that'll be cool. She'll be shooting from her own logo, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so good. All right, so that's my Phoenix Mercury thing. Oh, I know what else I wanted to say about it. Here, this is so smart. Couple of things. And there's one thing I'll definitely want your opinion on, because you love the UFC like I do, but you also like boxing, right?
I prefer boxing over UFC.
That's even better, dude. Even better. So sometimes, I feel like I put myself in a position with things I post on social media where I end up defending people or certain things, and I really don't want to be in the position of defending people.
Okay.
But it's just because the other people are such dickheads that I end up defending them. I can ask you on this because you said it too, and I love this. So, what was the one word you used? If you just think of one word, Angel Reese, what one word comes to mind?
Retire.
Oh my God, she's not a bad player. That's not the word. That's not the word you used. What's the one word that comes to your mind when
trash?
Oh my God, you're killing me, dude.
I don't remember what you.
Me bounds.
Oh, rebounds. Yes.
No, not rebounds. Me bounds.
Oh, me bounds because she gets her own rebounds. Yes.
Which is a good thing. It's a good thing when a player gets their own rebound. It's not good if they miss 3, 4, 5 times and get each one.
I was about to say, you got to add more context to it because Angel Reese doesn't just miss and grab 1 rebound. She misses and grabs 5 rebounds.
It's maybe it's happened, okay, but that does not happen every time. But there's this
actually, funny enough, I
don't know.
I looked into the stats and stuff like that, and she actually does grab a whole lot of her rebounds.
But again, you know what? Here's my point. Everybody else has a chance to get that same rebound, and they don't do it.
For sure. No, I get
and
that.
she puts it back and scores, and it works. Yeah. And you may think the stat is padded, whatever. That's the thing. But so she has this whole hater thing, especially when it comes to the me bounds.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Did you see what she recently just did in the last week? She took that hate and she's cashing in.
She putting bets on herself to miss shots?
No. She created me-bound merchandise.
Yeah. See, the thing is
but you got to. Here's my point. You got to see. That's me.
I can respect it.
Even though I'm not a big fan, I'm not a hater. I don't think she's a terrible player. I think she's a good player, but the comments are still coming on my TikTok for the little clip of me and you. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's still coming, dude. We still get that almost daily. That's so funny.
Now that I have a few days of vacation,
you got to go on there and answer some of those people because. They don't really know who you are. You're that other guy.
Random voice.
And then you're an old Mexican. You were called an old Mexican. So funny. But But yeah, I respect people that have a hustle, have a grind, who take that kind of stuff and turn it into something else. So she's taken this dig that other people have made about her, and she's cashing in, selling merchandise. And in fact, on one of the games recently, she it's a big thing now in all sports. The NFL was doing it, and now everybody's doing it, right? NBA, the WNBA. The only people that don't do it, I don't know if baseball players do it, but everybody else, it's a thing now to see what the players are wearing to the stadium. It's a whole.
Like
Have you guys talked about that on that fashion thing that you do? Because you do a fashion podcast.
Yeah, we focus more on like models and like higher.
I know, but that would be a good topic because it's a new thing, kind of. No, it doesn't fit your thing.
Yeah, it's very very specific. Yeah, I've even brought up some suggestions, but we're very very very
yeah, but it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she filed a trademark, dude. She's gonna own the word me bounds.
That's a crazy word to own, by the way.
But it's smart, dude. It's smart because if you don't do it, someone else will.
No, for sure, but it's a weird
dude,
logo
but I
or,
just
brand to represent yourself to.
Dude, but it's genius. It's money, dude.
Imagine like having like in baseball having like a .1 batting average on your shirt and be like, yeah, that's me.
I know, but if people bought it and you made money,
easy to be.
I know, but I
no, on the business side, I get it.
On the business
I
side.
I get that.
On the business
I'm not
side,
gonna hate on you making your money. I'm not.
Well,
but
I especially like it when people make their money like that, when you can be like, do you think I care? Because like your whole me bound thing just paid for another Lamborghini for me.
Yeah, no, I get
I'm
that.
good.
I
Like,
100%
right?
get that.
Okay, so now I'm going to switch gears and go to boxing.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I posted this on X, and I also posted it on. Leave it there. So read that. Get that. We can get that. I'll read that. So I posted this on Facebook as well. And for you guys listening, if you're not following me on X or Facebook and stuff, follow me on those places, okay? Jake Paul, this is true. I didn't make this up. I fact-checked it and everything. Because of his last win, he's whether people like it or not, those fights against UFC fighters where it was a boxing match against a UFC fighter, those are still considered professional fights.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it may not have the same level of, credibility as fighting another boxer, but there's a lot of UFC fighters that are really good.
It's a different
boxer.
Sport. It's a completely different sport.
It's a complete. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, that they have to be really good. You have to have multiple skills, the grappling, the possibly kickboxing, and of course the boxing. But usually somebody is stronger in one area than another, or they come from one area. Maybe they were a college wrestler, and so their grappling skills are good, but then they're focusing on improving, their boxing game, But anyways, there's enough there that the WBA, I don't know that much about the WBA. There's way too many. For one, there's way too many professional organizations when it comes to boxing. We basically used to have two that were the top, and then we had a third one that was kind of good, but not so much. But because the people that were at the top of the third one really would have been at the bottom of the other two. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Was that the WBO?
It
might have been the WBO.
I'll be honest with you. Even
way too many.
I struggle keeping up. There's so many different subcategories.
But it is a thing. This is a thing, and like it or not, I was very skeptical of Jake Paul, but I've also seen that the dude's put in the work.
That is for sure, but he's also very selective of his opponents.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. Like that happens. That's
boxing.
Okay,
that is
that's
boxing.
That's the sport,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah. But no one's gonna give him credit until he fights an actual
Well,
an
he did.
actual, like,
Well, they
qualified,
well,
like,
and what
top
they'll.
end.
I agree.
Because
That-
Cesar
and
Chavez that was just sad.
they will.
That is just sad.
I agree. They will say that, but he did fight Fury, who is a legitimate boxer,
And lost.
and lost. But to me, people say that Fury did not dominate him,
No, I mean,
I-
Fury's
it
also
was-
not a very good boxer, though.
and I don't. But is he ranked?
I
And-
don't
and
even.
he-
I don't
and
even
he-
think he's ranked. to
Yeah,
be
look
honest
it
with
up.
you.
I'm interested to know. Was Tommy Fury ranked? But Jake Paul is now if the WBA has officially ranked him, or was it the WBC? It was the WBC, right? Officially ranked him number 14 in the sport. He's not currently ranked.
WBA.
Was it WBA? Okay.
Yeah, no. Tommy Fury was one of those things. The only reason he was so hyped up was because he was involved in the like YouTube scene or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So but Tommy Fury is not a good boxer. So the fact that Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury just shows the levels of boxing that he does not have, and that's why it shows why he selects everyone that's over 40.
Okay, but
plus.
but that's not going to be that way now.
Probably will be because he's like I said, his management team is super. It's amazing the way that they've been able to like select
The business,
opponents.
absolutely.
The business side, I respect it
Thank
100%.
you. That's part of my point too.
Business,
Because
perfect.
if you look at my post, I didn't want to defend Jake Paul as a fighter.
Yeah, he's not a good fighter.
And you can even see in my post, say what you want about the kid. He did it his way, outside the system, outside the rules, and now he's knocking on the door. Like, you have to be ranked before you can fight for a championship. He won't get a fight. Number 14 doesn't get a fight with number 1.
But
You probably have to be.
The crazy part, it is possible.
It is possible.
It is
but,
possible.
But it would be more likely that he would fight number
2,
8,
3, 4, 5,
the number 8 guy,
Yeah.
and then maybe they rank him number 7 if he wins, and then he gets a chance. So I'm just guessing now. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing he's got to win a minimum of 1 and probably 2 fights
Before
of people that are at least closely ranked to him. So he's got to fight 10, he's got to fight 8, and if he wins that first one, maybe he's now 8 and he fights number 11 or whatever.
The only thing you have to take into consideration with Jake Paul is that he brings in numbers. So
absolutely, everybody wants those
and
numbers.
stuff like that would be. So if he gets the opportunity, I'm not too familiar with the rankings and who's where. But if he's able to find if his team is able to find someone within the top 10 or top 5, they will make that fight because
they
Jake
will.
Paul brings in those numbers. He's gonna make whoever
But
puts
I
the promotion
also-
on money. Like and the other thing is too that a lot of people believe that if he were to fight an actual quote unquote boxer,
Right.
he would get humiliated. So there's a lot of reason why a lot of promotions would agree to setting up a fight that makes no sense.
Okay. So my take on this, I believe that he's serious.
I'm sure
This is that I don't think this is a joke to him. That I think he seriously wants to, at some point, fight for a championship and wants to win. That he legitimately wants to do that. Yeah, he's done this. He's got to fight, but at least when I've listened to not just my own opinion or forming my own opinion, but when I've listened, and I'm sure there's somebody that's a boxing analyst, that's a good boxing analyst, that has negative shit to say about Jake Paul. But I've seen more former fighters and analysts say slightly, they're not saying he's great.
Yeah.
But they will defend that
The fact that
he's
getting
putting in the work,
ring, yeah.
that he's actually learning stuff, that he's improved,
Yeah.
that he's doing that, saying good things about his thing. And so, like you'll see in the comments, that then you just have, people who've never done anything in their life always wanting to shit on setup. And I absolutely do not believe that he's paying people off
I don't
to
know.
lose.
Some of those fights look a little suspicious.
I'm
I'll
not
tell
saying
you
they
what.
don't, but that's just boxing in general.
No,
and I
people
certainly
have like self-respect.
yeah, I don't believe. And how are you going to keep that a secret that long? Because somebody would want to expose him for the money. Do you know what I'm saying? Somebody will give you some broke boxer who lost to him and now is out of that money that they made fighting him are going to say, yeah, like I'll sell you my story for $100,000. How Jake Paul, I have,
Yeah, but that man has a
text
lot.
messages
He has a
or-
lot of money. So but I think that's the thing about Jake Paul and his team is I think they're very smart.
they are smart.
I don't think they're dumb enough to do. If they were to be rigging fights in one way or another, I don't think it would be very obvious. I think definitely.
I just think it would be very, very hard to do and keep quiet.
I honestly don't think so.
I do.
Especially with the team. Like I said, I respect.
Look at how many I get 395 comments.
Yeah, a
on
lot of
there.
people were very upset about that for sure. No, I mean,
oh my God, it was. But also, it got attention because I used the hashtags.
so I actually learned
So-
hashtags actually do nothing for posts.
Okay, but I totally disagree, and I'll tell you what my proof is.
Mhm.
When I've done certain posts like this and added the hashtags,
Mhm.
I get people commenting that are not on my friends list.
Gotcha.
And if I don't put hashtags like this,
Mhm.
almost every comment, it's rare for me to get a comment by someone who's not on my friends list.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's true or not,
At least for Facebook.
Yeah, I just recently watched the videos with the.
I
it
know,
might have been
that's
for it might
back
have been
and
for
forth.
Instagram. It might have been for Instagram where he says the CEO of Instagram said that hashtags don't affect the algorithm in any way.
But they used to. I think that's a
Mm,
change.
No, he said
Really?
Yeah, for Instagram though. For Instagram, I'm not sure how it applies to other social medias, but for Instagram, he said that is one of the least things that
Well,
alters.
I do know for TikTok, it was a thing at one point.
I believe so for
and
TikTok.
but they've totally changed it
Mm.
on how they do that now, where it's not based on that anymore. People still use them. I still put them up. I know I'm trying to figure out X. I'm putting them on X, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
I
If
don't
it
know
helps
off the top of
anymore.
my head, but I don't believe so.
But they did at one time
at
too.
one point, correct.
Right. But
Correct,
like I
correct,
said,
correct.
TikTok for sure did because there were people who were experts in that. And when the algorithm would change and what things you should and how many you should do and at what time of the day you should post and all that shit I was trying to figure. I don't even worry about that anymore. I just post content and I'm just going to keep doing more and more content and putting shit up and see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll see a bunch of like that Waylon Davis idiot, okay? Down there. Yeah, that little fucker. He's not on. John Owens, all those people are not Facebook friends. He got mad because I posted that picture of his sloppy ass self. Because I'll do that when people say stupid shit. And most of the people that commenting that say dumb shit
Mhm.
have 35 friends and locked profiles. And to me, if you have a locked profile, you're just a pussy. That's just me. It just is. So Jason is my friend, and he said he thinks that they might be lining up this Joshua fight. What do you think about that?
I'm pretty sure they're like very. I don't know. Jake did go up in weight, so I'm not sure because Anthony Joshua is a very big person.
Well, but both of them would have to be, at least on weigh-in day, qualify for
So I'm pretty sure he usually fights at like two.
this is cruiserweight. See, he's in the division in super heavyweight.
Exactly, and Jake,
Cruiserweight's lighter, isn't it?
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Anthony Joshua is a very big guy,
So
and-
he would have to drop weight to
and
fight.
I highly
Paul.
doubt he would do that. Especially because last time he I'm not sure if you remember, but Anthony Joshua was
No,
meant
I
to
don't
he
know.
was meant to be like a really like world class, like best
Uh-huh.
of the best, and some fat Mexican came into the ring and knocked his ass out. And then
Don't
there's-
you? It is funny. I'll admit because you know how I enjoy fitness and I'm a jacked old man and stuff, but I do find it funny when either UFC or boxing, when you have somebody that looks like a beast, you know, the six pack, the muscles and everything, and gets beat by some dude that looks soft.
That was Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, that is funny. I do admit that. That is funny.
So I mean, if it were to happen, that would be a great fight. That'd be a great challenge for Jake Paul. But again, ever since that fight with Ruiz that Joshua had, he hasn't been the same. He hasn't.
That to me is just a reason that Jake Paul would be a good fight for Jake Paul.
That's dangerous for Jake Paul because Anthony, he's long. Like it's not like he's just big, but he's long too.
Yeah,
like,
but Jake's
he's actually like an actual boxer. I know like a lot of people say that,
but like you said, if he's not the same, if he has to drop that much in weight,
I don't know if he can drop that much with that.
Okay, but if he did, crazy. I'm just saying if he had to drop that much in weight, and there was a third thing. If he had to drop that much in weight, he what did I say? I had a whole three things there. He's 35.
He's old. Older, I should say.
But not so old that people can like.
For a boxer, that's pretty old.
It is, but it's not the 45. I mean, how old was Chavez?
45, I want to say.
See what I'm saying? That's a difference. 35 is like the end.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's still within let's go with the word that we use for testosterone, normal range.
He's 40 years old.
Yeah.
Chavez.
But 35 gets you enough that he's not over the hill, but he's at the end of his career or whatever. So that's my thing. Would it be a good fight? People would consider it. You would consider it a legit fight because the dude's really a boxer. And it'd be smart for Jake Paul because he's got a chance because the guy's 35, because he'd have to cut so much weight, and he's not the same as he was.
And I think that's why no one will ever kind of fully respect Paul is because you had to add those stipulations for Paul to get into the ring.
Okay, but that's how you work your way up.
No, for sure.
Because you want to give your chance to have legitimacy now.
Yeah.
But you don't want to lose either.
But the thing
you want your best chance to win.
I 100% and that's the one sad thing about boxing is that it's a very common thing is where you have a lot of like pick me up fights and stuff like that. Like it's very very common. Like a lot of these boxers that have the 25-0, 35-0.
Exactly. They all pad their stats.
But the difference is they typically have a handful of elite fights that they have to show like, hey, I'm good.
No, but I think that's what he has to do now, and this would be a start of that if he were able to do this. I think it would be a good choice. I don't know any other choices. I'm not that familiar with it.
From a business perspective, it's a smart move.
And the thing for me too, here's the other reason I respect Jake Paul is because he's two things. He's bringing people's eyeballs to it, like me again, because I grew up with boxing. I grew up with boxing being on, TV on Saturday and going over to my aunt and uncle's house and us sitting around watching boxing matches regularly. If it was a championship fight, it would more be in the evening. But you had like the NBCs of the world back then, that they would have these boxing things on and stuff. And, I grew up with that. And I grew up frustrated with boxing like a lot of people. Because of decisions that were made. One of the biggest fights that I watched, I actually got my dad tickets. My dad and I bought tickets for me and my dad, and we even dressed up. This is when I was just beginning my career. Okay, and I'm going to end with this story. I was just beginning my career in the suit department at Value City Department Stores.
Okay.
And I bought me and my dad both blue blazers and like gray slacks, ties, everything. And we went to the fight dressed like that.
Okay.
But we didn't go to the fight. We went to the Sugar Ray Hagler fight.
Okay.
That was that you got a ticket for. You couldn't see it on TV, but you went to an arena and watched it on a big screen.
Interesting.
And it was sold out.
That's pretty dope, yeah.
If they can just sell that kind of stuff out, that's cool. But that's what we did. And a lot of people watching it again. I really thought live when it was happening, watching it, I really thought Sugar Ray won. But it's one of the most
like watch it back, yeah.
But now today, dude, it was really, really close. And there's a great argument that Hagler was maybe better in that
the way
particular
he
fight.
started off the fight.
Well, not just that, but Sugar Ray was smart of how he handled the fight. The dude was a genius.
IQ,
and the way he finished every round.
With his head
strong.
Strong and everything. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
because that's the last thing people remember before they write the score down.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It was genius like that. And Hagler, that's when I first started being like, bald guys are badass. Like, they just look mean. Like, who would want to, like, if you've seen Hagler coming down the street, you're going to cross the street. It had nothing to do with being black. It had to do with he just looked mean. You know what I'm saying?
He's a mean like that,
he just looked like a mean motherfucker, man. He looked like a badass. You don't want to fuck with that dude. Like, the bald dude. Like, it just give an extra thing that he looked mean. I don't know. You know, but I love Sugar Ray Leonard. He was phenomenal.
Very fun to watch.
But I, you know, and especially after Tyson, you know, after he left, basically, or had to leave and was in jail and stuff.
I was about to say,
dude, I didn't pay attention that much anymore.
Did you know that Manny Pacquiao is going to be fighting again?
Really?
At 45, I want to say. I mean,
I love him too. I love what
he retired, came back, became a champion at 42, I believe.
I've watched the documentary. Have you seen the documentary?
I have not. On Netflix?
Watch the documentary. I think it's on Netflix. Okay. Dude. It's an excellent documentary. It's really, really good.
But I heard him ask, or a reporter asked him, I thought this was hilarious. The reporter asked him, he's like, hey, if you win the championship or whatever, do you think Mayweather will come back and give you your rematch? And he goes, no, he'd be even more scared. No, I'm like, I love Pacquiao. I love Pacquiao, man. That is a great fighter right there.
Yeah, it is. He's a great fighter. I do Mayweather love watching. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm just saying, the eyeballs went from boxing to the UFC, and especially in the beginning. Now the UFC has gotten a little bit like boxing, you know, with certain decisions and stuff like that. But when the UFC first started, I don't know if you were probably, you'd have to watch old matches.
Yeah,
you were not paying attention when it first started, okay? Because you were a little dude. So there were no time limits, dude.
No, and
you just had the rounds. You just fought until somebody tapped out or got knocked out, man. And fans loved it. Because you took the referee out of it. You took the judges out of it.
It was more of a gladiator kind of.
Dude, it was fantastic. I love that.
No, I remember going back and watching a lot of those videos.
They're fantastic,
man. Graphic, man. They did not care. They were in there to kill people.
But that stole the eyeballs away.
Oh, yeah.
And Dana's a great promoter. But here's the other thing, too. You know who else is a great fucking promoter? Jake Paul. And Jake Paul isn't just, and I totally respect this, he's not just about money for himself. He is spreading the wealth with his promotions, and when he puts on a fight, the other people on the card are getting paid better and probably the most they've ever gotten paid for a fight.
Correct.
And I know that's happened a number of times of any other thing. He's not, I mean, the shadiest motherfuckers in all of sports has always been the boxing promoter.
Correct.
Even more than agents who rip people off, you know, football players. Fucking all the boxing promoters were shady motherfuckers.
I can agree to that.
Yeah, right? So, and Jake, as far as he's not shady. He's paying people. He wants them to get paid for, you know, because it's a risk. It's a risk.
Yes.
You put it at risk.
Yes.
You talk about fucking football players and brain damage and shit.
Especially in boxing.
Are you kidding?
Where your objective is only to hit each other. There is no
in
grappling or nothing. It's you
most of the time, right? You want to hit him in the head. Yeah, you wanted the gut shots, but like people want the headshots, man.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. But I totally respect that, and that's what my post was about. Like, I'm just respecting the dude's grind.
Yeah.
You know, and what he did on YouTube as a kid to make his money, what he's done now to continue on, and that I believe is serious. You know, I'm all for people having opinions and sharing their opinions, but there's a way to share your opinion and not be a total fucking asshole. You know, it's just me. But I know that's part of it, and people do that. But I felt like I had to defend him on there, like, and I did. And people can see that if they want to go on my Facebook page and see what I had to say and doing that kind of stuff. But I loved it. I love putting it up there. I love getting the response. I love going the back and forth. But if somebody's a dick, don't be mad. You know, you just shit on somebody you don't fucking know. And don't get mad when I go on your Facebook and make you look stupid. And I don't post it on their Facebook. I post it on my page. And if you post a fucking picture, you mad that I copied your picture and posted? You posted it, motherfucker. Apparently you were proud of it. You know, I post all my pictures. If somebody else uses my, I've had people do that, post pictures and, you know, or say something nasty about me and Don. I'm like, that's a good picture. I'm not mad at you for reposting it. You know why I'm not mad at you for reposting it? Because I posted it. I was cool with it, so go right ahead. You ain't going to hurt my feeling. That's like the stupid motherfuckers, you know, even in there, you'll see a couple comments about, you know, steroids and stuff. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Look at the rest of my thing.
Oh, I thought you meant
No,
like
me.
Jake Paul. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
there's
okay.
that out there too. How would he test and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Man
look.
got big pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, look, here's the thing. That may have been, but he can get off, okay? And there's other things he can do to maintain it now that he's already attained it. And, dude, that's just, if
the
people
world of
don't
boxing,
think
honestly.
that boxing and the UFC and football and all this stuff, baseball still, maybe not as much as before, you know, I'd probably say the sport that big sport that would have the least amount of steroids.
Like swimming?
Yeah, probably. But, I mean, but look, even, you know, cycling was a thing, right?
Every
they don't have to be jacked. Every category. But I would say of the big sports, probably the NBA is probably less. But I've seen players that certainly look that way, like a Karl Malone and stuff. But today I would say that even those players, they might not be using steroids, but
different
peptides,
Yep.
using
Yep,
peptides that, you know, aren't going to get them to look like a bodybuilder, but are definitely going to be performance enhancing, you know.
I agree.
Yeah, performance enhancing, definitely for that. And they do not have tests for all that stuff. I promise you they fucking don't, man. That is not a thing. So I didn't get to anything political today. But I'm glad we got to talk about that, and because your opinions on that as well, that was good. So, yeah, that's it for today. Friday, I'll be on. Leo's going to be – where are you off to?
Cancun.
Cancun.
Yeah.
My
brother is he's a big advocate about this like exclusive like resort or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to Cancun ever, so.
Oh, nice. I've been to Cancun. You'll have a good time.
Hopefully I make it back, you know.
I hope you make it back too. I'm still going to jump on live. I may do it seated here. I may do it seated outside. Who knows where I'll be sitting and doing it, but I'll be going on live Friday and Monday, and then you come back Tuesday?
Tuesday night, yeah.
Tuesday night.
So
So then you'll be here Wednesday morning.
Correct.
And doing that. And check out our shit, you know, on Saturday, the new reaction videos. We're excited about that. Tell people about this. All right. Love you guys. God bless. I'm out of here. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.